Hello, citizens of YouTube land.
Hey.
And today's episode is going to be The Godfather, which premiered March 14th, 1972, which makes this year the 50th anniversary of the film. It was produced for a budget between $6 and $7.5 million, and it made anywhere from $250 to $290 million.
Wow.
Yeah, which adjusted for inflation probably puts it closer to $1 billion overall, since we're talking about 50 years ago. And so it was directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and it is adapted from a book by Mario Puzo, also called The Godfather.
Yeah.
And it stars Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, and Robert Duvall as your central main characters in the film, with strong supporting performances from Talia Shire and also James Caan, who played Connie Corleone and Sonny, respectively. So, yeah, guys, what can be said about The Godfather other than, well, it's one of the most influential and greatest films of all time, and single handedly reinvented the gangster movie genre as we know it.
Mm-hmm.
As you can argue that without The Godfather, there would be no Goodfellas, there would be no The Sopranos, there would be no Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
because of the complexity and the fact that, listen, guys, as we go through this story, you're going to witness how one man who is seemingly an unassuming bystander in this criminal family, you're going to witness how he becomes the ultimate monster.
Yeah. So let's get on with the story, shall we?
Yeah.
The story begins with Vito Corleone going over some business with the Undertaker, as no Sicilian can refuse an offer on his daughter's wedding day.
Yeah. So he basically tells the Undertaker, he says, you know, you just now come to me. I thought we were friends, but you never invited me in for coffee. You never invited me over to your house to have dinner. It's only now, when you need a favor, that you come to me, and it insults me. Basically, is what he tells him.
Yeah. By the way,
And the Undertaker is like, "But it's your daughter's birthday, so
wedding day.
it's your daughter's wedding day. You can't refuse the favor from me." So Luca, who's a central character, and we talked about him a little bit on the gaming channel. If you haven't checked that out yet, go check out The Godfather Part 1, which we've got up on the gaming channel now, PS2 version. Luca is practicing about how he's going to talk with the Godfather, and he tells him that, I'm very honored and grateful to be a part of the family, and I would do anything for you. And then the Godfather tells him, hey, listen, I got this thing. I need you to go take care of it. So, yeah, that's kind of happening.
Yeah.
And there's this big wedding scene that's happening at the same time, because while it's a Sicilian wedding, guys, there's still family business to take care of. And so all of your main characters are also there too. Tessio and Clemenza and the rest.
Yeah.
Also, Don Barzini, head of the Barzini crime family, is also at the wedding, as is the Turk, Salazzo, who's very important to this story, because they want to do this big deal with the Corleones, because the Corleones have the politicians and the cops in their back pockets, so they can move distribution. And because they got the cops and the politicians in their back pocket, they're basically allowed to do their gambling business, and they're, as we've said before, they're women of the night business.
Yeah. So, anyways,
because those are considered human natural vices, so the cops won't really mess with it. And the Don explains this to him. It's like, yeah, I got them in my pocket because of these reasons, but drugs are a different scene because Salazzo has, well, he wants to introduce heroin, basically, guys. And the Godfather refuses. Well, Salazzo takes this as an insult. And the I'm kind of speeding forward a little bit because due to our new editing software, we can't talk as long as we could before. So, kind of speeding this along a little bit. That we now it's important to understand that Sonny was actually on board with it and was willing to provide resources until because his father says no, Salazzo and his acquaintances want to make sure that Don Vito, well, doesn't,
sleeping with the
yeah,
no, make sure that Don Vito is sleeping with the fishes.
exactly. Uh,
Which, in case if you guys don't know, that's a gangster term
so
for
this happens,
stumping.
and it's also because remember how I'd said that Luca had this thing he had to go take care of? Well, as that turns out, it's that he's going to like make nice with the other families and like pretend to be on their side. But then Salazzo and the Tatalias, well, they make sure that Luca sleeps with the fishes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that end up sleeping with the fishes.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, anyways,
So
yeah,
the attempt on the life of the father has drawn Michael into the equation. Now Michael is like basically just home from the war. He's a war hero. And he's on this date basically with this woman who's sort of like his love interest and she ends up marrying him later, but that's beside the point.
yeah.
He basically tells her that, hey, I'm not like that. I'm not that kind of person. But it's kind of funny how these things work because, as we said, they tried to make sure that his dad was sleeping with the fishes. So then they get the idea to set up a meeting with the Turk and the one of the other family members that was responsible for it. And then, well, Michael makes sure that
So
they sleep with the
actually,
fishes.
so it wasn't the Turk. It was the son of the
Salasso
Tatalia.
was in there though.
Yeah.
He killed
Well,
Salasso.
he didn't kill Thalasso. He actually killed the son of the Tatalias and the police
Yeah,
sergeant who
that's right.
smacked them around. And
He made
so
sure
he
they
makes it,
slept with the
yeah,
fishes, but
make sure they were sleeping with the
they were
fishes.
negotiating a deal for Salasso. And so then Michael has to leave the country and he goes to Sicily. Meanwhile, Santino, aka Sonny,
He takes over the family as his father.
and he is a brutal, violent uh, dictator of the family. He rules with an iron fist,
Because
and
his sister Connie gets beaten up by her husband,
yeah.
and you know what? You know what Sonny does? Beats the crap out of Carlo. Like he does. He's like Carlo, and he like comes there and he like starts beating the crap out of him. Then takes like a trash can
So
lid
Sonny
and beats the crap out of him.
is basically he's refusing to do deals now. He's out for blood, and this thing with Carlo, they actually set Sonny up, and he
Oh
gets
yeah.
ambushed. And one of the most famous scenes in the movie,
Oh yeah. This is parodied on The Simpsons. If you guys know the episode for the Mr. Plow episode.
he's ambushed, and
So
they just several times removed do they make sure he sleeps with the fishes. I know we keep using that, but we have to skirt around it. It's YouTube, y'all. Y'all know how it is.
YouTube would be like, you mentioned a word that means death. How
You
dare you?
mentioned a word that rhymes with Bill. Exactly, right? So, anyways, guys, Uh, yeah, this brings Michael back, and
Oh,
Michael,
don't forget to mention the fact that they blew up the car with his wife in it.
yeah,
His
yep.
wife in Sicily, mind you.
So it's the combination of the attempt on his life, they blow up his new wife. They make sure that his wife, instead of him, is sleeping with the fishes because they make car go boom boom. And so, because of this, and because of the death of Sonny, and because of the attempt on his father's life, Michael immediately breaks bad.
Yep.
I mean, immediately. Like, no second thoughts. Just headstrong right into it.
Yeah, and then his father makes sure that he's the head of the family. And then
One thing we do need to talk about, though, that we haven't talked about yet, that is very important because everybody
what's
would
that?
want to hear about it.
What?
So, Tom and Vito want Vito's godson to be the lead in a new war movie, correct? Right? Okay, all things good. He sends Tom to go talk
Oh
to
yeah.
Howard Waltz in order to get the part. Well, Waltz turns him down flat. But you see, they were making an offer that he couldn't refuse. And he wasn't going to be able to refuse because they made the mistake of basically, he made the mistake of basically telling,
Saying no to the Godfather.
and he made the mistake of telling them what he loved the most in the world, which happens to be a
His prize.
prized racing horse that he was going to
Mm-hmm.
put out to stud. So lo and behold, what happens the next morning when he wakes up? Well,
His horse is sleeping with the fishes.
in his
With
bed. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yep, that happened.
So just go with that they will go to those links. But we had to mention that, guys. So yeah, Michael has taken back control of the family. He's the head. They're about to go legit. He's given Clemenza his own family. He finds out that Tessio has betrayed him. He's going to make sure that he sleeps with the fishes also because Michael's
And
not going to
then
tolerate any betrayal at all.
Michael, he then sends out his men to make sure that the other dons of the family are sleeping with the fishes.
While he's being baptized. This is all happening while he's being baptized.
Well, actually, his baby's being baptized.
He is too.
Or, well, his sister's baby's being baptized.
He's being baptized as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So he stands alone as the head and the supreme leader of the organized crime in New York City, and they're about to relocate to Las Vegas, which is where we're going to pick up for part 2. So we've kind of covered all the bases here, guys. It is okay. The interpersonal relationships between Vito and Michael are tremendous, and the dynamic between Michael and his sister. There's a very powerful scene where
At the end.
Carlo is made sure to sleep with the fishes as well. And his sister comes in and was basically, how could you? And that you're no different than Pop, and all kinds of things like that. You know, when we see these things, and it does weigh on him heavily. Like you could start to see that already the decisions that he's made to obtain the absolute power that he craves are already starting to affect him. And so there's a little bits in between the violence and the profanity and all of that. There's the little bits in between that really provide more meat on the bones than would be there before. So and it's beautifully shot. I mean, what can you say about The Godfather that hasn't already been said?
I mean, it's Francis Ford Coppola. What do you expect?
It's as we've said, it's one of the greatest films of all time, If you haven't seen it, go check it out. You can find it literally anywhere. Streaming services, DVD, Blu-ray, VHS, if that's your thing. It's available all over the place. Um, Also, I guess time for a final rating, which I will go ahead and say definitely 5 out of 5. What say you?
Also a 5 out of 5. The only major criticism I have about the film, and it's not really that big of a criticism, anyways, is that they use the theme, the Godfather waltz, a lot.
Yeah, which I guess is why it's used so predominantly in The Godfather, the game, too. So now we kind of know why, because that could be one little drawback is that the Godfather waltz is used. I don't know what do you say, 5, 6 times it's played throughout the film.
It's more than that.
Could be more than that, but and as always, yeah. You think that The Godfather 1972 is the worst crime epic of all time? Well, then clearly you have not seen, let's go with Gotti. Clearly you have not seen Gotti starring John Travolta.
Oh, I've never seen Gotti.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Hmm.
So, yeah, there's that, guys.
Yeah.
Other than that, stay tuned where next time it's going to be The Godfather Part 2. Then, unfortunately, guys, sorry to have to do this to you guys, but we won't get to The Godfather Part 3 till after Christmas because we've got to start doing the Christmas stuff, starting with It's a Wonderful Life, which will come out Thursday, as well as The Godfather Part 2 review
And
as
also
well.
Miracle on 34th Street, the original. So there you go. We got 3 films we gotta watch that day, Dad.
Yeah, marathon of stuff coming out for you guys, but we try to pump them out and we try to adhere to what we say we're going to do. So, yeah, guys, unfortunately, time did kind of catch up with us. This is a spare hobby of not of mine and the VPs. It's not our full time
Yeah.
job, so we put it out when we can. But other than that, guys, there's only one thing left for us to say, and that, of course, is peace and love from Denny and Son. Bye.